How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to our next episode on how to validate a website. Now, in the last episode, you learned how to upload a website to the internet, and I talked briefly about how to validate your website before you upload it. And I think this is something that is so important to talk about that I wanted to create a separate lesson just for validating a website. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to talk about why we need to validate it and how we can validate it both with HTML and CSS. So as you can see in front of me, I do actually have a website that I want to test out if this is actually a valid website. And this is the website we've been creating in this course here. So if you want to download this website, you can go in the description of this video and download it if you want to. If not, then you just need to create your own website or just create something really quickly that you can use with this example here. It doesn't really need to be anything special. You just need to have a HTML page and a CSS style sheet that you can test out with me if you just want to create something really quickly. So what I want to do now is I want to take a look at the website inside the browser, and if we were to scroll up and down, we can actually see that there doesn't really seem to be any kind of errors. The HTML is structured correctly, the CSS styling seems to be working like it should, so it doesn't really look like there's any kind of errors. But I can actually tell you that before recording this episode, I purposely went into the HTML markup and inside the CSS styling and made a couple of errors on purpose. So why can't we see it inside the browser then? Well, one thing the browsers do when you run a HTML marked up website that has CSS styling applied to it is that if you have any kind of errors inside your markup, the browser is going to try to figure out what kind of error did you make and what did you try to do inside your code or inside your markup. And it's then going to try to fix it when it shows it to you visually inside the browser. So right now, even though I do have errors, it's going to try to fix it by itself. The good thing about this is that it allows for us to make errors and get away with it, but the bad thing is that we do have errors inside our code or inside our markup, and it needs to be fixed. And sometimes we don't actually see the errors because it tries to fix it for us. So what we can do is we can actually take the website and test it out inside a HTML and CSS validator to see if there's any kind of errors we don't see inside the browser. Now, the testing tool we're going to use is something created by W3C, which is a community that creates the standards that we see on the web today. And these are the people that decide what is the correct standard when we make websites. And they have a tool for both HTML validation and also when it comes to CSS validation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to validator.w3.org and I'm going to go ahead and use the validator in order to test out our website, which right now, like I said, doesn't really look like there's any kind of errors inside the browser. So what I can do inside this website here is I can test out the website in 3 different ways. I can first of all go and get the URL for my website, which you can only do if your website is online. So right now, because I'm locally on my computer, I can't take my link here and just test it out. It needs to be online, so I'm not going to use the first tool here. The second tool is by uploading a file, by taking the HTML file and then uploading it to the website and then testing it. And the third option is we can actually write code directly inside the website and then test it out inside this little input here. Now, what I want to do for this episode is I want to go ahead and just upload one of the files from the website since I haven't uploaded it to the web yet. So inside this folder here, I do actually have the front page of my website, the one that you guys saw inside the browser. And I also have the style sheet and then a folder with the images for the website, but we don't need to do anything with that folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop my index file into the upload area. Then I'm going to go ahead and see if we want to add more options to it. Right now we don't want to, but we could take a look at these different options and do something to it. Again, like I said, we're not going to touch it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and run check. And as you can see, we get a bunch of errors inside the markup, which again, we can't see inside the actual website here. So let's actually go and take a look at what we have inside the testing here. Now, down where we have notes and potential issues, we have a couple of different notes that were given to us to see what kind of errors we might have inside our markup. Now, if we were to scroll further down the page, you can see we have validation output, which gives us a more accurate idea about where inside the code we might have errors. So this is the one I'm going to use in order to figure out where the bugs are inside the code or inside the markup. Now, the first error says that we don't have a document type declaration, which means that we don't have any kind of markup that says what kind of document are we talking about. Now, as a default, we should be telling it that we have a HTML5 document and everything below this document is HTML5 code. So if I were to go back inside the actual code for the website, you can see at the top here, I didn't declare that this was a HTML5 document. So what I can do is I can go ahead and say we have a doc type, which is an HTML5 doc type. Just going to save it, and then I'm going to try to re-upload the code to the validator, or the markup to the validator. So back at the top here, I'm just going to drag and drop the document in here again. Then I'm going to say revalidate, or revalidate it's called. Recheck it, and then you can see we get still errors, but we should have less errors than before. And you can actually see that there's a lot less errors than before. So right now it says that we have 4 errors. The first one is that we don't have any text in between the title tags. So right now, if I were to go inside my markup, you can see the title tags doesn't have any text inside of it. So we can say this is a website, just to have something in here. I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to go back into the validator and check for the next error that says we have a bad value, which is a bad URL that links to the fonts that are used inside the website. Now, this is actually Google's own suggestion to what I should link to in order to get the fonts working inside the website. And now you might be asking me, well, how can Google's own link, the one that's suggested for me to use in order to link to the fonts inside Google's library, be a error? Because it's Google we're talking about, don't they know how to link to a font correctly? Well, when you link to fonts using Google Fonts, it typically gives you this pipe symbol inside the link to the fonts, which is something that our validator is not really that happy about seeing. So we can get around this in another way. So if we were to go inside my HTML markup again and go to the link here I used to link to Google's own font, I can go to the pipe symbol, delete it, and use something called URL encoding, which means that we have a set of characters or a string of characters that we can use that when you run it inside the URL, it's going to interpret as a single character. So the character we have when it comes to a pipe symbol is using %7c, which means that if we were to take these 3 characters and run it inside the URL, it's going to show you a pipe symbol. So if we were to run this again inside the validator, it's going to take these characters and turn it into a symbol. So this is how we can fix the errors when it comes to linking to Google's own fonts, which is sort of a weird thing that Google hasn't addressed this, which is an issue when it comes to validating a website. Now, if we go back inside the validator, you can see that we have 2 more errors left. One that says that we have a end tag for the body, but there's unclosed elements before we get to the body tag. Now, if we look at the last error, it says that we have an unclosed element, which must mean the unclosed element that we have inside error number 3. So let's actually go and take a look at the 4th one and fix that one and see if it doesn't fix the 3rd error. So if we go down here, it says we have a div that doesn't have a closing tag. Now, we do actually have a div down here. It says that we called a wrapper inside our markup. So if I go back inside my HTML markup and scroll down to the wrapper that we have at the bottom here, this one right here, you can see that if we go down to the bottom after the footer, where we need to have the closing tag, we don't have a closing div. And this is actually a typical error that I see a lot of people, they forget to fix inside their code or inside the markup, because when people start making websites and they're new at it, a lot of times they make the opening tag, but they forget to make the closing tag, which is a really important thing to look out for. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a closing div tag. Going to save it, and then I'm going to try to re-upload the code or the markup inside the validator. So I'm just going to grab my file again, drop it in here, and check it. And now you can see we have no errors inside our HTML markup. So this is how we can fix HTML markup using this validator. And again, I'm going to link to it in the description in case you haven't gotten the link for this specific website. Now, when it comes to CSS styling, we need to use a different validator because this is only for HTML markup. Now, the link for the CSS validator is called jigsaw.w3.org/CSS-validator. And again, I'm going to go and leave a link in the description so you can just open it up if you want to. Now, the CSS validator is very similar to the HTML validator. So we can see we can either use a link, we can use file upload, or direct input. So if I were to go ahead and grab my CSS file, drag it in here, check it, you can see we get an error message. Now, if we take a look at the error it found, you can actually see that on line 115, we have a parse error that says we have something wrong with this piece of CSS styling. So if we go inside our CSS file to line 115, go down to where it says 115, you can see that we have the header styling down here, and somewhere around here we have an error message, or not an error message, but an error. And if we were to take a look at the main tag, you can actually see that I forgot to include a curly brackets at the opening of this styling here. So we were to save it, go back inside the validator, re-upload it, and we just need to go back to do that. So I'm just going to refresh, grab the CSS file, drag it in, and check it. You can now see that there's no errors found inside the CSS styling. And again, I didn't really test out the CSS styling before I made this episode. So I'm just happy to see that when we created this website back some episodes ago, there was no errors when we did it. So this is how we can validate a website using these different tools. Now, it's very important to mention that you need to validate your website before you upload it to the internet, not just because there's errors inside your markup, but also because it might affect the search ranking inside Google if you have errors inside your code. So it's very important that you fix these errors. Now, second of all, if you were to actually take an exam studying web development, I'm pretty sure that teachers will require that you validate your website before you turn in your website for an exam, because it's super important that you validate your website. And if you don't do it and there's errors, believe me, the teachers will validate it and see if there's any kind of errors inside the markup. So if you're a student and you want to create a website for an exam project, make sure that you validate your website. Okay? This is pretty much what I want to say in this episode. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.